What's up everybody? I know, it's been a while. It's been 3 weeks since I did a movie review. I can explain. As much as I love doing movie reviews on this channel, I really want to focus on my education as well. Doing film school, becoming a filmmaker, and it's not that I don't like this channel, I love this channel to the bottom of my heart. I love talking about movies to you guys, but also I want to focus on myself as well. So that's why I've been basically taking so long often for uploading videos. But don't worry, I am still here because I still like doing movie reviews on my channel and I will never give up on it. Yeah, this coronavirus is starting to get worse and worse and worse in Victoria and Melbourne because now there is 406 cases. Some people died from it, and more movies are getting delayed. Mulan is delayed. Tenet, one of my most anticipated movies of this year, is delayed. I'm just like, you might as well cancel all the movies this year. So I was thinking of what video I should do right now, because since now this decade has started off really, really bad, now I'm thinking, I decided to talk about movies from the last decade, because so far the last decade is better than this decade so far. So I tried to do my top 10 best movies of the last decade, but there's so many movies that I love from the last decade that I decided, let's make this a franchise. Let's make this top 10 best and worst list from each year through the last decade. Now, I'm doing all this except for 2016 to 19 because I have done those on the channel. So I'm going from 2010 to 2015. Yes, I'm redoing 2015 because, you know, sometimes your channel hates your own videos and you just want to delete them all. So yeah, I'm redoing 2015, but we'll get back to that later. So let's go off with the year that started it all, 2010. Now 2010 has been a big year. It has a lot of great movies that came out, and it has a lot of shit movies that came out. So we're going to talk about that this week, and I'm going to do this every single week. So this week 2010, next week 2011, the week after 2012, etc, etc. I feel like that will be fun to go back to different years and talk about which movies that came out that year that I like and which movies that I didn't like. So let's start off this decade franchise with talking about my top 10 favorite movies of 2010. So before I start off talking about my top 10 favorite movies of 2010, please make sure you subscribe my channel and ring the bell for more movie reviews and other movie related content. So guys, no further ado, let's talk about my favorite movies that came out in 2010. Like Cher said, if I can turn back time.
Number 10.
So let's start off with number 10 with Megamind. Megamind is a really fun and entertaining family film that has some great heart and great comedy. Will Ferrell's Megamind was fantastic. It's a great twist on the superhero genre. It's basically DreamWorks' The Incredibles, even though The Incredibles is a bit better than this movie. I think it's one of DreamWorks' most underrated movies, and I think a lot of people should check out Megamind.
Number 9.
Ryan Reynolds trapped underground in a coffin for 90 minutes. Like the movie 9 minutes. How boring could that be? Not for Buried. Buried, I think it was so intense, so thrilling. It has some of the best written scripts that I've seen in a very claustrophobic survival film that's just very, very simple. I think, in my opinion, this is my favorite Ryan Reynolds performance besides Deadpool. I think he brings so much energy to this film, and it's probably the best serious role he's ever done in the film because he mostly does comedy, which he is iconic for that, but I think Buried gives Ryan Reynolds something special. Again, a guy in a coffin the entire movie with a cell phone trying to get help. Simple movie, and not boring. Just great job, Buried.
Number 8.
Yes, Disney is back, doing great animated films again now in 2010, back then. Tangled. I wasn't really excited for this movie when I was 10 years old because I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of those girly movies. But Tangled has something for everybody. It has humor, it has heart, it has a love story, it has adventure. Everything about Tangled is just so much fun. In my opinion, the songs of this movie are much better than Frozen. Just, no offense, Frozen, but I think Tangled, now the songs, much more better.
Number 7.
Now coming into my number 7, actually that's pretty funny because a lot of movies that I put on this list are animated films, except for Buried, of course. But I gotta say, this is one of the biggest surprises in anime film history, in my opinion, and that movie is How to Train Your Dragon, which is, in my opinion, one of my favorite DreamWorks movies. Why is it my favorite DreamWorks movie? Because the animation in this movie is some of the best animation that I have seen in a DreamWorks movie, has some of the best characters that I've seen in a DreamWorks movie. It has some of the best chemistry that I've seen in the DreamWorks movie with Hiccup and Toothless. It has some of the coolest action, it has some of the coolest comedy, it has some romance as well. It has everything I wanted an animated film to be, except for being boring. How to Train Your Dragon is just awesome the whole way through.
Number 6.
Kick-Ass kicks so much ass. Everything about Kick-Ass is just so much fun. And it's actually my first ever R-rated movie that I've seen in 2010. And start off with Kick-Ass. What a freaking great start. It has some of the coolest superhero characters, it has some of the coolest action, it has one of the most badass female characters ever, Hit Girl, which we're still waiting for her own movie. Am I the only one that's waiting for that? The soundtrack is good, the score is freaking amazing for a superhero movie, and it's a great breakout for Matthew Vaughn, who directed so many movies after this movie.
Number 5.
Alright guys, we're getting to the top 5 favorite movies of 2010. These are the 5 movies that I think makes 2010 very iconic. Coming to my number 5, of course we're going to put Scott Pilgrim vs. the World on that list, because we just have to. Scott Pilgrim is one of those movies that made 2010 iconic. It's one of those movies. I think Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is the best video game adaptation, and the best anime adaptation that wasn't really an adaptation, it's an adaptation to a comic. And this movie brings that comic to life. Like literally, if you were Michael Cera and you met Ramona Flowers, you definitely want to defeat 7 evil exes to get to her. Like, guys, never deny that. You know you want to do that.
Number 4.
Now, like Buried, Ryan Reynolds in a coffin throughout the entire 90 minutes could be boring as shit. But that movie was great. And now we got a movie about Facebook. That could be boring as shit for 2 hours. Nope. David Fincher, you nailed it with The Social Network. I think, in my opinion, it's one of the best Jesse Eisenberg performances because I'm not really a huge Jesse Eisenberg fan. That's the only time that I love Jesse Eisenberg. It's a great biography, and this movie is so intense, especially with Andrew Garfield, which is definitely his breakout role. I think this is when Andrew Garfield was getting picked as Spider-Man because he played this role really, really well. Even Justin Timberlake was great as well. It's a great biopic, it's intense, it is thrilling. David Fincher, you did such a great job directing this movie, and yeah, now I look at Facebook quite often.
Number 3.
Now, we couldn't do a top 10 favorite movies of 2010 without putting this movie. Like, if no one puts this movie on their best movies of 2010, shame on you. Toy Story 3. Come on, Toy Story 3 is one of the best Pixar films that came out in the last decade. Absolutely. I think Toy Story 3 was marvelous. In fact, Toy Story 3 was actually my first 3D movie I've ever seen, and it's some of the best experiences that I've had in the movie theater. Yes, I can remember that experience all the time. It has great characters, great new characters, good to see the old characters again. This movie, of course, has some of the most emotional moments that we've seen in an anime film ever, and even darkest moments. But Toy Story 3 keeps it clean and makes it a great family film that is great for adults as well. I think Toy Story franchise is more adulty, in my opinion, than a children's film, but Toy Story 3 absolutely nailed it out of the park. It has something for everybody. Toy Story 3, of course, I have to put this movie on this list.
Number 2.
127 Hours, another claustrophobic survival film. We got a lot of those that year. Again, like Ryan Reynolds, this is some of the best James Franco performances that I've ever seen. I gotta say, James Franco is great comedy, but when he plays serious roles, it is so unexpectedly fantastic. I don't know if he won an Oscar for this film. If he did, congratulations, James Franco, because you deserve it after this film. Like, literally, a guy that's trapped in a boulder with a rock, like, holding onto his hand through the whole 9 minutes. Again, intense, thrilling. It has some of the most intense scenes that I've seen that year. My god, that scene, you know what I'm talking about. I had to cover my eyes. That's how intense that was. Danny Boyle, that is one director right there. He knows how to make these type of movies more relaxing, but also grippy at the exact same time.
Number 1.
Alright guys, what is my favorite movie of 2010? If you guys are looking for all the movies of 2010, you're thinking, where is this movie? Well, lucky enough, I put this movie in my number 1. Of course, 2010 couldn't be 2010 with movies without Inception. Christopher Nolan, my favorite director of all time. Like, just, he's one of my favorite directors. Now, out of the Batman movies, it was so popular after The Dark Knight. When we see the name Christopher Nolan, we were so excited what to do next. I actually saw the poster of Inception in a newspaper, and I'm just like, oh my god, the director of Dark Knight, I have to see the movie. And the movie was just like the next Matrix. It has a confusing plot, but made it so smoothly and unique. Everyone was great in this movie. The concept was fantastic, the action was great, probably some of the best action I've seen in a Christopher Nolan movie, and also one of the best visual effects that I've seen from a Christopher Nolan movie as well. This movie is exciting, it's thrilling, it has some dark humor, Leonardo DiCaprio, great, Justin Gordon-Levitt, everyone, Tom Hardy, Ellen Page, Michael Caine, just wow, what a freaking cast! Everything about Inception is exciting, and movies that are exciting are always going to be my number one favorite movies of that year. And that's how it works in my channel. So Inception is definitely one of those movies, and it's my favorite movie of 2010. So guys, what a great start to my top 10 favorite movies of the last decade with 2010. Let me know guys, what are your top 10 favorite movies of 2010? I would like to know your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. And next, of course, I'm going to do my top 10 worst movies of 2010. Yes, I have seen some shit movies in 2010 as well. Again, I was 10 years old. That's how much I love movies. So guys, make sure you guys follow me on Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter. Keep contacting me and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and have a nice day.